you're with us on a Friday afternoon. Hi, everybody. Yours truly, Christopher Russo. Busy day today. Nice to have you aboard on this 26th day of March 2021. We got the crew in here today with Mr. Schmeling and Mr. Erickson on a great Sirius XM at 82 at 888 Mad Dog 6. That's your two-way sports talk telephone number on this afternoon program. Lots to do today. Obviously, Mr. Wenzel a little later on in the games this weekend. We'll get a chance to chat with him. Lon Kruger just retired from Oklahoma. A conversation with Lon. Great career. Never got himself in trouble. Bounced around. 2 Final Fours, NBA, 5 teams or 5 programs into the NCAA tournament. A conversation there. And just to make Spitzy happy, Sid Luckman today. No, not Sid, but the new book on Sid. Well, it came out a couple years ago, but it's great. I just tracked it down. Tough Luck on Luckman, the great Bear quarterback in the 40s. So have some fun with that, too. So we got a lot cooking on this afternoon program. We're going to try to throw a baseball spot on for you late in the day today, just to break it up, give a little baseball to you as we get ready for opening day in 5-6 days. First off, though, we have an NFL trade, 2 of them involving Miami. Let's give you the parameters of it first, and then we'll go into some specifics here and get your calls in. This is important. The Niners saying that they are still going to have Garoppolo as their starting quarterback. They reiterated that today, and this is what Lynch said about a month ago. He is our quarterback, I guarantee it, in 2021, and they did say it today, even after they made this trade with Miami, where they obtained Miami's number 3 pick in the draft, and in exchange, they gave the Dolphins the number 12 pick, and then they gave them a lot of first-rounders down the road, a first-rounder and a third-rounder next year, and also a first-rounder in 2023. So to move up 9 spots in the draft, San Francisco gave up a couple of first-round picks and a third-round pick in the next couple of draft years. So that's number 1. Number 2, then the Dolphins turned around and they traded that 12th pick to the Eagles to get the 6th pick. And with that 12th pick with the Eagles, they also sent them a 2022 first-round pick, which is their first-round pick, not the Niners pick. So the Eagles got to basically move 6 spots in the draft. They added a first-round pick for next year. So Miami, to make a long story short, they got some first-rounders, most importantly, and they moved down, essentially 3 spots in the draft, 3 to 6. And with that, they added some draft picks, including a third-rounder, a first-rounder, and beyond in 2023. And they only had to move down 6 spots for that. Now, again, the Niners, if you move up to 3, you obviously want a quarterback. There are 2-3 quarterbacks that everybody seems to think are first-round potentials. Everybody now loves Zach Wilson. We'll get to that in a minute. Trey Lance from North Dakota State. And then, of course, Justin Fields out of Ohio State. If San Francisco is going to jump, all those spots, 9 spots in a draft and then give up a couple of first-rounders, you don't do that to draft an offensive lineman. You do that because you must really want a quarterback for the future with your franchise. So maybe they look at the Chiefs from a few years ago with Mahomes sort of being an apprentice to Alex Smith. Maybe they want to feel to do the same thing with Garoppolo, sort of being there for the 1 year, and then they can have a young player watch, learn from Garoppolo, and then take over in 2023. I don't know if Garoppolo's going to be happy by that, but maybe that is a possibility. Garoppolo's been hurt a lot, so the Niners want a little protection. Now, if to do that and they move up to number 3, that would make you think that they couldn't make a trade with the Jets to go to number 2. So that must mean that the Niners feel as strongly on Lance and Fields as they do about Zach Wilson, which to me is a surprise. Fields is, every time you don't know how to read Fields. He was awful against Northwestern. The Ohio State quarterback has been terrible in the NFL draft, but then he was wonderful against the Clemson. He was tough. He played great. And then he didn't do anything against Alabama. That really wasn't all his fault because of their defense, but he wasn't great against Alabama. Lance, your guess is as good as mine on Trey Lance. In North Dakota State, who the hell knows? But everybody now has come to the conclusion that the Niners wouldn't jump all the way to 3 if they could jump to number 2. So and plus the fact there's a Niner-Jet connection anyway with Saleh. So they must have checked in with the Jets to see what it would take to go to 2. The Jets said we are not trading 2. And then if you don't trade 2, if you're the Jets, that tells everybody that you're going to obviously draft Zach Wilson from BYU as your quarterback of the future and have him be the guy for next year, which means you're going to have to trade Darnold eventually. So that's what everybody has jumped to conclusions. So there's 2 conclusions here based on these moves here today. There's three. The first conclusion is that Miami, there's four. The fourth conclusion, the last conclusion is Watson's going nowhere. All right, Watson's going to stay in Houston. He's not going to Miami with the third pick. He's not going to Carolina. He's not going anywhere. He's not going to the Niners. Watson, forget Watson. Well, Miami's out of that. Watson, if he plays next year, might be fortunate. And if he does play, it's going to be with Houston. That's number one. Number two, it tells you that Miami has decided that they are going to go forward with Tua and have him be the quarterback next year, because they went from the third pick, where they could have a choice of two quarterbacks in Lane and Fields. They jump all the way to the sixth pick, where they may not have a choice of any quarterbacks, because remember, Atlanta picks fourth, and Atlanta might have their heart set on either Lane or Fields. So that is, I remember, Atlanta at 4 is going to get a quarterback if they want, because with Lawrence 1, the Jets 2, and the Niners 3, that still leaves one left. So the Dolphins are telling you right now that Tua is their guy. That's the second thing this tells you. The third thing that this tells you is the Niners are drafting a quarterback, because you wouldn't go this nuts to move up 9 spots to take an offensive lineman or a receiver. You're going to do this with Lance or Fields in mind, and since the Jets didn't budge from 2, that tells you that they have fallen in love with Lance or the Ohio State quarterback. And then, of course, the fourth thing this tells you is the Jets are going to take Wilson. We had a feeling the Jets were going to take Wilson anyway. Tannenbaum told us that about 3 weeks ago when he joined us. I was perplexed by it. Chris Sims, who has been on with Adam, I guess basically said the same thing with Sims. He said that a lot of different places. Give Sims credit. And remember, he had Herbert. He loved him and his father. So that tells you that the Jets, for whatever the reason, have fallen in love with Wilson. Buyer beware with Wilson. He wasn't even the starting quarterback at the beginning of training camp. He wasn't named a captain, if that means anything to you. And their schedule was absolutely atrocious. And in the last aspect with Wilson against Coastal Carolina, not exactly, Joe Paterno's Penn State defense. Against Coastal Carolina, he did very little in the game and lost. So, but everybody seems to think that he is the real deal. Precision, 33 touchdown passes. I think he had 3 interceptions. And, I guess he is the guy at that position. So the Dolphins today move down essentially 6 spots. The Eagles get a first-round pick today in 2022. It's a Dolphin first-round pick, which might be a decent pick. The Dolphins get some first-round picks and some draft collateral for themselves by moving down with San Francisco. They move back up again, but they did move down. The Niners must love a quarterback, and the Jets must love Wilson. And that's what it all tells you. So, in essence, there's no way San Francisco made a trade with Miami without talking to the Jets first, especially when you consider the fact there's a connection with both franchises based on who the coach is, Saleh. So somebody called Saleh, Robert, what are you doing? Well, we're drafting Wilson. Really? There's no way we can trade with you now? We're going to draft Wilson. So then they said, let's go to Miami. Miami said, no, we don't want a quarterback. We have Tua. We'll make a trade with you. That's what it tells you. Now, we'll see how good Wilson's going to be. That we'll see. You also know that Watson's going nowhere. He's not going to the Jets. Watson's also not going to Miami, which then leaves you Carolina, and I doubt he's going there either. So Watson is in a tough spot right now with nobody's going to go near him. The Niners must love Lance and Fields. The Jets must love Zach Wilson like everybody else. And Miami's still pretty confident that Tua is their guy. We'll get your calls in. It's 11 after the hour. It's good to have you aboard. We're on Mad Dog Unleashed.